Alright, hello. Today we're going to be talking about some wide receivers that have stood out to me in the first 2 weeks of the preseason. And they're not like the Jerry Jeudy, CD Lamb type receivers that everyone knows about and are primed to have a good year. These are more like the deep sleeper type guys that I think are going to have a good year this year or maybe in the future, and not as many people know about them. So let's get right into it. Alright, first off is Marquez Callaway. He is a undrafted free agent last year, and he plays for the Saints. The main reason that this guy is interesting is because Michael Thomas is out, and there's no real wide receiver one on the team right now. And Thomas should be out for most of the year at least. And it looks like so far in the preseason, Marquez Callaway is really stepping up and could have a really good fantasy year. At his current ADP right now, he's going to be an absolute steal. Alright, this one's from week 2. And look at the insane contested catches that he's doing. He's getting targeted on like every single play early on in the game when he's playing. It looks like he's a clear wide receiver one for this team. 2 amazing contested catches this game. If he can do any of that in the regular season, he'll be really good for fantasy. Alright, this next one is Jakobi Meyers. He was an undrafted free agent in 2019, so this is his 3rd year on the Patriots. And I think he's also the wide receiver one for the Patriots. I don't hear many people talking about him. No one seems to really care, but I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. He's had a couple of good years in the past, but if Mac Jones plays, I think he has a pretty good ceiling and should see a lot of targets in this offense. There's not much preseason film for him because he's like a locked-in wide receiver one for the team, so he hasn't played a whole lot, but this is what I got of him. This is a really good play. Get past all 5 of those defenders and get in for a touchdown, that's huge. So yeah, I'd be targeting Marquez Callaway and Jakobi Meyers pretty heavily in my redraft leagues because they have they're gonna be ADP steals for sure. Alright, the next one is Josh Palmer. He is a 3rd round pick this year for the Chargers, and he's fighting with Jalen Guyton for the wide receiver 3 role. He might not be the best fantasy receiver this year, but next year I'm pretty sure they're going to get rid of Mike Williams because he hasn't done much for the team and he's going to cost too much. So he should have the wide receiver 2 role by next year, I believe. And it seems like everyone on his team has been talking him up, saying how good he is. And look at the time on this clock. This is like the first drive, and he's getting all the targets. I mean, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams aren't in, but he's going to be either the wide receiver 3 or 4 this year. I think he's going to split time with Jalen Guyton. That's all I had for him, but I think he's in for a pretty good year this year. Alright, next up is KJ Hamler. He's a 2nd round pick for the Broncos last year. He is fast, man. He can burn through anyone. This is my favorite team, the Vikings, right here, so don't like seeing people burn on my Vikings, but I notice them when they do. And it sounds like he's going to be the wide receiver 3 this year for the Broncos, which isn't great because Bridgewater and Locke are both horrible, but if he can do stuff like this right here, he's going to have a good year. He's someone you should be looking for late in your drafts. Alright, the next one is Marvin Jones. He is a old receiver, but as you can see, old AF. I don't even know his age, but he is going to be like the safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence. So anytime Trevor Lawrence looks around, he's going to be like underneath, finding short routes or sometimes even longer routes. But it should be a pretty good fantasy option because Trevor Lawrence seems to trust him a lot. And he's really cheap in fantasy drafts. Look at this catch right here. This is really nice. Catch and throw. But yeah, it seems like mainly he's going to be like 5 to 10 yards from the line of scrimmage catching balls. Quick throws, so Lawrence doesn't get killed by his O-line sucking. But yeah, this guy's basically free in redraft leagues and a good win now piece for Dynasty, for depth. Alright, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a 4th round pick for the Lions this year. And the Lions have no receivers really, so it's anyone's game to step up and become a receiver behind, I guess, DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. I really liked Amon-Ra St. Brown coming out of college actually, and I thought he would be picked like 3rd round. 4th round's a little late, but I think he has a lot of potential. And he has Jared Goff as QB, and he's basically like a younger Robert Woods almost. But I wouldn't say that he's that good. But he's got to catch those balls, but it's still preseason. And dusting off the cobwebs, you know. I think he has a lot of potential for the future, though. Alright, Jaelon Darden is one of my favorite sleepers coming out of college this year. I thought he put up one of the best years in college football this year for wide receivers. But he was like a Division II guy, and no one really talked about him. But he's an undersized guy, but he's really shifty, and he plays pretty tough actually for how he is. And I think he could be the slot wide receiver next year when AB is gone. So he's probably not going to do a whole lot this year, but next year he's got a lot of potential. And he's being used as the punt returner and kick returner mainly, I think. He can't drop the ball like that either, though. Yeah, not much tape on him either, but we'll see him more and more as the weeks go on. Alright, next up is Quez Watkins. He was a 6th round pick by the Eagles last year, and he is another guy who's just really fast. But we haven't heard too much of him until this preseason, and then it sounds like he's winning the wide receiver 3 role for the team, which also might not be the best team to have the wide receiver 3 role on, but he's got a shot to be pretty fantasy relevant. And looking at this play here, he can break 80-yard TDs like nothing. So yeah, he could be a good best ball play or just a deep guy to have in your roster. Alright, Jakobi Meyers. This is a guy I didn't really hear much about until I seen him in the preseason. Like, he was a 4th round pick for the Rams this year, and he's like a tight end / wide receiver. But watching his tape, I thought he looked really fast and was running good routes, and just pretty impressive overall. Again, like Tyler Higbee's in front of him, so he's not going to be doing much this year. You can't drop those balls. That's what I've seen a lot from these guys. They've dropped a few balls. They'll get used to it though, hopefully, and not drop as many. Alright, I'll go back to this play. This is a really nice catch by him. Even though it was out of bounds, that was impressive concentration, good route, good speed. Alright. Mike Strachan is... yeah, his last name's weird, but I think it's pronounced Strachan. He's an undrafted free agent this year. He is a big dude, and he's got a lot of potential, but he's going to take a long time to be good. So this is mainly like a dynasty long-term play. But he looks pretty good at contested catches so far. He's got a big contested catch right here. That was beautiful high pointing on the ball. Gets way over that defender. And just looked good doing it. So yeah, those are the guys that I'm buying, investing in dynasty leagues, and some late guys that I'm gonna get in fantasy redrafts. So thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, and I appreciate it.